Okay, welcome back to part 4 of HiPi's New York Times article-inspired coronavirus plot series. So where were we last time? Let's just take a look. So we'd sorted out our dates at the bottom here. That looks much better. Let's remember what we were trying to achieve. We're looking for something that looks like this. Okay, so we've got a bit of work to do yet to get it into that format. So I think, let me just figure out what we're going to do in this video. I think what I'd like to do here, let's go back, I've got my my daily total now. But the one thing that this article has is this sort of, actually, the red line here is the 7-day average. So it's like a rolling average of all the 7 days around it. To generate this smooth line. And actually the line is much more indicative of any given trend. You can see here that you get peaks like this and on the daily total, and they can be kind of misleading, whereas the 7-day average gives rise to a much sort of more obvious trend. You can see when things are going to peak here if you're looking at that. So I want to include that on my plot. So what we're going to do first is we're going to write a function that calculates a series for that 7-day average. I'm going to create a function. Let's start a function to do that, right? Let's call it 7-day average. Again, just like when I was converting my data to a daily total from a cumulative total, I fed it a series from my pandas data frame. This function is going to calculate 7-day average from subsets, and I've got a parameter here which again is a pandas series. Okay, I'm going to define a new list, and it's just going to be an empty list. Okay, I'm going to call. I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to use L is equal to list to list. So that converts my data series, which is what I'm chucking in here, to an actual list. And I'm also going to define this variable called remainder, or rem, and that's going to be the length of my list. And I'm going to use the modulo operator 7, and the remainders. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with today's date, and I'm going to count back 7, and then I'm just going to average over those 7 days. Okay, and then I'm going to go back 1 day in time, and I'm going to look at the 7 previous days, and I'm going to average those, and I'm going to go back one more time, 7 days. So I'm always going to get the previous 7-day average from any given date, and then I'm going to replace that. I'm basically going to generate that series, which is going to give me this smooth 7-day average line. Okay, so to do that, let's figure that one out. I'm going to let me have a look. Right, I'm going to start appending to this list in a for loop. So for I in range, and I'm going to start. So the whole range I don't want the first element. I want one. To the length of my list minus that remainder, okay? Because I don't want, I only want to do this on a whole number of 7s, if that makes sense, right? I'm not going to ignore the sort of trailing days at the very end. Otherwise, I'll end up with some sort of discontinuity in my my data series there. I'm gonna write this in because it's important. I'm going to iterate backwards through the series. So to do that in Python involves using negative indexes in my list. So bear with me for that. Let's call my new list I want to append the following value, right? So the first value in my my list. So I'm actually going backwards now. So this new list is going to be backwards to what I want it to be in time, but we'll fix that in a second. I want the sum of the minus I minus 7 to minus I elements, okay? So what that's going to do, it's going to look at them. So it's going to start, it's going to basically chop off the last 7 elements of my my list array. I've done that wrong, hang on. Sum L, there you go. So it's going to look at the last 7 elements of my list, and it's going to sum them all. Okay, start at minus 1 because I is 1, and actually it's then going to go to I minus 7. Okay, so it's going to be the 7, and of course it's an average, so I want to divide through by 7 as well, right? Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to so it's going to do that for every element, and then I'm going to just top up. I need to make sure that my new list is the same length as my old list. Okay, so I'm just going to add a few zeros to the very end of it. I'm going to multiply that by the number of sort of non-factor of 7 days of the week that are left over, if that makes sense. And actually it needs to be +1 to add it up to the correct number. Okay, now that at the moment is giving me a new list which is backwards in time, okay, because I've iterated backwards, and I need to make sure it goes forwards in time. So I'm just going to flip that list around. So when I return this list, the easiest way to reverse a list in Python I find is to do that. There you go. And if I run that, okay, no errors, that's good. So I'm now going to, right, so let's have a look at the, let's create a new variable called, let's do the confirmed number of cases. So 7 day confirmed equals, I'm going to use this function 7 day average, and I'm going to chuck into it the confirmed column from the confirmed series from my data frame. New list reference before assignment. That's because I wanted to spell it like that instead. Okay, my mistake. I've done it again. Yeah, so be consistent. LST. Right, okay, so let's just have a look at that. Let's have a look at that list. Okay. There you go. So you can see it's definitely averaged something because I've now got decimal places. Okay, so the first couple are 0, and then I've got 200, 300. You can see it's going up, and it's then getting higher and higher and higher up to about 4,600 per day, and then it's coming back down again. Okay, and actually as it's getting towards April, it's getting down to below 100, which is good. Right, let me get rid of that. Let's see what that looks like on our plot. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to be really naughty, and I'm going to cut and paste this, and I'm going to paste that there. I've already imported that, so I'm not going to worry about that for now. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a line on here. Again, I'm going to use the dates, but I'm now going to use my new 7-day confirmed average, and I'm going to plot that, see what happens. Oh, something's gone wrong. What has happened there? Ah, it's because I'm plotting depths here. Okay, so there you go. So here's my blue line now, okay? And if you look at China, that looks about right to me. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So that's great. I think that was a bit of a bugger, really, wasn't it? I think what the last thing I would like to do in the video, let's just make a bit of progress here. That was a bit of a head scratcher, wasn't it? Definitely go back and look at that. Ask me any questions if you want as well. That's probably by no means the most elegant way of doing this. It's just the way my brain has done it. I think what I'd like to do for myself, just to sort of make a bit of progress, is I would like to actually use the colours they've got in the plot as well. So to do that, that's really easy. I'm going to change my bar plots to a colour of, and I've cut and picked. I actually used a colour picker to pick this off the plot. Oh, okay, and I'm going to slightly tweak the width of my bars. I'm also going to change the figure size slightly so it looks a bit neater. And for the second plot here, I'm going to use a red line, a full red line, to distinguish that. Ooh! Right, so I've got an error. I've used a point instead of a comma. There you go. There you go. Right, now we're making progress, right? That looks a lot better. Okay, so that's great. In the next video, I'm going to start to really sort of start formatting this so it looks like these plots instead. So I need to, I'd like to get rid of the right axis and the top, and even the left one here as well. And I'd like to actually start putting a few labels on. And also I need to find out where this peaks as well. You can see on these ones you get the actual peak value on. That's really useful to see, so I'm going to try and put those on as well. Okay, so join me for the next video. I hope you're finding this useful, and yeah, I'll see you next time.